Hey guys, so I've been screwing around with a few of these permutations that we discussed, and let me show you what the baseline is, sort of cleaned up. So this is the same form that you guys saw in the office, but now we have a bench on one side. So there's I think it's 16-inch tall bench here, a 34-inch tall bar on the right, and you can fit like 24 people in here staying 6 feet apart, which is kind of insane. I don't know if that is important for where they site it, but that's kind of the general idea, that there's a bench, there is a tree that gets integrated into the bench and pops out through that triangle. There is a ornamental grass planter that is good because it keeps sort of separates the different bar seating into groups of 3 and 2 and 6 feet apart. So there's another index of that requirement. So I'm just going to go around and kind of show you these views. I'm going to send y'all this model. It looks like Brandon is pretty handy in SketchUp, so maybe y'all can look through some of these and kind of pick them apart. I tried to get through all the things we discussed, and some are definitely more successful than others. There you can see the notch now. So the notch carries all the way down, so you have 4 distinct cells, I guess. And so what this wood inlay is, this wood inlay is the height of the bar side, 34 inches. Sorry, it's scrolling. 1 second. So it forms, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this. You'll be able to see it in the model, but you don't know from the inside because the inside's all plywood, so it's just clean, but it informs a seat back. If you wanted like a joint to be right here at the 34-inch line, then it kind of sets up a seat back, but then it looks like this little inset, a ribbon, I guess, that runs through it on the street side. So that's good, I think. Okay, I'm taking a lot of time here. So here's what I want to go through. I put a little green sticker next to each option that I feel is good to go. For instance, all of these are going to deal with this corner and how to create sight lines for the people at the bar. The easiest thing, I think, is just same geometry and just pulling the skin back so that this dimension becomes like 6 feet, but really from both, oh, sorry, I'm missing a panel here. I think that unless you're sitting right in the middle, this is enough. And the suggestion of the bar like running past the wrapper, maybe that's more dynamic. But let me run through some of these. So this is an idea about if the structure itself was painted white, you could do like a steel mesh or some type of cheap, even like chain link fence or something, but just some type of transparent material to infill that geometry, and you could leave the inside exposed. This was just if that one panel got like a very regular perforated grid. That looks a little corny, but I still think that we could start with the baseline and go in later with, core out some holes. Because of the geometry of the framing, I think it would be possible to like put these weird little slots in there, but I'm noticed there's not a green sticker, so I'm not happy with that. Just playing with the geometry, it looks interesting, but I don't know what we're really gaining there. I like this one. It's another one of those peel backs, but it just looks a little more clean, and maybe there's an idea about this point to this point in elevation being like a straight line, so it kind of plays with you kind of read it sometimes in 2D and sometimes 3D. Same thing, just kind of pulling back. I don't know if there's room enough for a beam to do some of the things we talked about without pushing the whole thing up. It's already at 12 feet, so I think we're kind of at the height limit. But I'll send y'all this model. Let me just go through some of these last ones. If the bar was an object, then there could be like a reveal and the framing could come through and the wrapper could like sit on the bar. We talked about that. And then just the idea of windows. I think like introducing this circle or some organic geometry could be really, it's kind of like the Southern College of Optometry, but I think that looks really interesting and Japanesey. And then if you make it a square, then it just looks like a Kelly house, kind of looks like Hearst. So I think that's something. It could be a slot just to break that wall up. So these are just some ideas. This is retarded. But they're all here, and the greens are the ones I'm recommending, but I still think the baseline might be the very best. And maybe the sight lines is just a null point, and we just forget about it. So yeah, I do think the interior organization is working really well. You have a 36-inch aisle for a ADA. Maybe we could draw some 6 foot or 5 foot, 60-inch circles for a wheelchair to turn around, and maybe no chairs occupy that area. A special like dedicated turnaround point. I don't know. That could just be in the pattern, but that's it.